Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This one featuring the incredibly easy to cast and easy to follow Zerg versus Zerg. We have blue Zerg in the bottom left corner and Tiger Blue. Top right we have Hilopicolo. Red Zerg. I already casted a couple of games by Hilopicolo. He's really good. I like watching him. And he's also very funny. You should pay attention to the chat and me and what's going on the screen at all times. It's a pro tip right there. Hilopicolo, I believe, is the one who posted this to cast it on Reddit, and I believe he's in Platinum. Don't know about Tiger Blue, but you can tell by the colors that they're in comparable leagues, because this is probably on the ladder. Tiger Blue flinching first, throwing down the spawning pool, so that's going to give Hilopicolo just a little bit more of an edge as the probe counts continue to climb. That edge will dwindle once Hilopicolo decides to throw down his spawning pool. At the same time, Tiger Blue is going to be able to put that pressure on the field first, and if he takes advantage of the smaller rush distance afforded by Cloud Kingdom, then he can put some pressure on Hilopicolo before he manages to get his standing army up. You can see that Tiger Blue is just about to finish up his spawning pool, and we still don't have one being thrown down by Piccolo. But on the same hand, 3 drones up for Piccolo over Tiger, and another one on the way, so that gap is just going to keep rising, and this might show you a little bit better. 14 to 10 harvesters, 500 to 360. Doesn't seem like a lot, but Zerg versus Zerg really comes down to numbers. Piccolo positioning his drone right there, make sure that there's nothing sneaky going on. Maybe he was going to sneak it down to take that expansion, but we can see that Tiger Blue with his 2 drones on the way. One throws down a spine crawler, another one throws down a spine crawler, forces the cancel here, so Tiger loses 75 minerals, but with another one right down by the spawning pool and that not up, so there's no Zerglings on the way. Piccolo is forced to pull some drones, and 5 seems to be the perfect amount. He's still mining with more drones than Tiger Blue has, but he's answering back with the pressure. He's not wasting any time trying to take down that Evo chamber. Forcing that drone to cancel it once again and move over, so neither unit has really lost much, but you can see 118 resources have gone down for Tiger. 6 Zerglings come into the main base right when the spawning pool finishes. Piccolo's just got to buy time until he can get his own matching 6 Zerglings out, but he's losing a lot of drones to the pressure, and you can see that the drone count's now completely evened up. At the same time, a spine crawler's gone down at the south side of his base, so he's got to decide, does he deal with these 4 weakened Zerglings, or does he deal with the much higher threat, which is the spine crawler? Decides to split his interest, using his Zerglings to do some damage to the spine crawler, finally take out the weakened Zerglings, take out the spine crawler. As 4 more Zerglings charge in, it looks like Piccolo's going to clean this up. You can see there's 2 more reinforcing groups of Zerglings, but now that the spawning pool is up, as long as Piccolo continues to create queens and Zerglings, he's going to be able to hold back this pressure, and it looks like Tiger Blue knows this because he's waiting for his Zerglings to max up into a larger, more fearsome group. And so while this 6 pool of Zerglings comes in, he's going to be popping out another 2 groups of Zerglings, and he'll finally outnumber them, and with the queen throwing down damage to the encroaching Zerglings, he's going to be able to cover this up. Loses 1 drone there, which has got to hurt. You can see that's 7 to 11. Now Tiger Blue's deciding to go back to producing drones, which is an excellent decision right now. He doesn't really gain much by keeping on this pressure, but he's afforded himself an economic lead that he did not have. He's really made that early spawning pool and the sacrifice of those 2 drones early on really work for him, and he's evened up, if anything. The difference you can see now, 500 to 230, as there's only 7 drones and 12 or 14, was it? 13 drones for Tiger Blue. Tiger's grabbing that extractor, which you can see Piccolo does not have. However, Piccolo's deciding to put some aggression out of his own, as he's got 2 large groups of Zerglings coming in, pushing into the main base, and there's absolutely nothing here to answer it. Spine crawler goes down, and a Roach Warren. Roach Warren's really more of a wall in to protect the spine crawler, to protect against that wall off. These Zerglings aren't going to be able to do much if that spine crawler goes up. They might be able to pick off a queen, but she sandwiches herself between the spine crawler or the spawning pool, which is a fantastic play. These Zerglings manipulating the mineral field for that gap. Finally do get a surround on the queen, but she pushes herself back and has some drones surrounding her so she can continue to do damage from afar. Those Zerglings instead go to work on some of the drones nearby, and you can see that that drone count has completely evened up and is now heavily favoring Piccolo. As the Zerglings go to work on the queen, finish her off, pick off one or two more straggling drones, this Spinecrawler goes up and will protect this left side of the mineral patch, but the damage has been done. It's 7-17 as Piccolo has gone back to producing drones of his own. Drone transfer comes down. He's probably going to save up minerals, throw down an expansion right here, which is a great play as Piccolo's now got a little bit more of an economic lead. He's going to have to hold on to that. Tiger Blue, once again, behind on the economy, decides to do some damage. Forces out a large amount of Zerglings to push back his the encroaching army from Piccolo. At the same time, you can see that the drones have gone back to work, and Tiger Blue is beginning to produce drones as an expansion does go up. Neither player has managed to get the speed upgrade. Neither player has been able to get many upgrades at all. Tiger Blue currently has the upper hand on tech with those Roach Warrens down. This handful of Zerglings might be able to do some damage to the hatchery, but there's not a lot that they can do to take it down with these Zerglings constantly flirting in and out, doing a little bit of damage here. If Tiger Blue doesn't stay on top of his micro, he could lose all these Zerglings if he tells them to just 1A onto that hatchery. Piccolo producing a couple more reinforcing Zerglings. You can see that the Zerglings of Tiger Blue and Piccolo are pretty much in the exact same health, but we have 12 more Zerglings from Piccolo on the way, so he's going to rush in with these 4, push those Zerglings away. He does not want to cancel this hatchery to lose all those resources, and most importantly lose the time, because you can see he's got 15 to 16 Zerglings, but with 1 up on the hatchery he can use those drones to a greater advantage. 4 more drones coming down, they'll undoubtedly get transferred down there to do more mining time to improve that income, even though the harvesters are pretty much neck and neck right now with Piccolo mining gas. He's fallen behind on minerals, so he really needs to get that other line 100% operational. And he doesn't want to fall behind on the roach production too, because we can see the first one's coming out for Tiger Blue, and if Piccolo gets stuck on the pure roaches, he's going to definitely be at a deficit to Tiger Blue. You can see the reason he's been continuing on that gas is so that he can get out a upgrade for his Zergling speed. He's still mining gas though, so he's going to have to choose to do something with that gas, whether it is a ground or armor upgrade. Maybe it's more tech, maybe it's roaches for himself. That's really his decision. You can see layers coming up, so that's probably going to afford him higher upgrades. Still no Roach Warren, but he does have an evolution chamber down, which will make use of that additional gas. An interesting choice by Tiger Blue to throw it on the hatchery in his main, a macro hatch. Despite the fact that he doesn't have an expansion, he should be able to stay on top of the production of his units. He is, however, just mainlining those units. He's got 3 overlords coming out, which tells me he's going to shoot for a large swarm of units shortly following, just preparing to field a massive army. It'd be a good idea to grab an extra geyser, maybe even grab this expansion down here, because it looks like Piccolo is content to macro just for the time being. 5 more drones on the way for him, with these Zerglings holding a defensive formation out front. Lair finally finishes up. You can see the level 1 range, so it looks like Piccolo is preparing to shift over to roaches for himself. Or maybe he just wanted the buff for queens. Sends his Zerglings down here to make sure that there's no hinted expand, as he sends in an overlord as a suicide overlord. The only thing you can really see that's new is this hatchery. But it doesn't look like that overlord's going to be fast enough to avoid getting taken down by the queen, which was positioned correctly. He also would be able to see the 6 roaches in position. His amount of Zerglings right now isn't enough to deal with it, but with this spire on the way, he will be able to pick out those roaches while they're afield. They're slow and they take not a lot of damage from Mutalisks, but they take damage from Mutalisks, and Mutalisks can deal damage from a distance and also harass that roach army as they make their way into the main. So yeah, even though that roach army right now can do a lot of damage, you can see that it's about to get doubled by 8 more roaches coming out. Roach Warren is being built up in Piccolo's main, so he'll soon have roaches of his own to finish, and those roaches will come with a +1 upgrade. They won't come fast enough though. 6 or 7 roaches pushing out right now into the common area, and will probably be hitting the main base just whenever Picolo's own roach warren is hitting. It looks like Picolo's going to go try for a run by right here with these zerglings as these roaches prepare to take the choke and push up into the main. They do push by. It looks like those roaches are standing at the base, so we'll see if these zerglings can scoot right through between those queens. They can. Another queen was coming to block that off. They don't succeed in blocking it off, but those roaches finally pushed into the natural, taking down the queen almost instantly and forcing these drones to retreat. 29 to 20 drones right now, so as long as Picolo can keep them alive, it looks like it's inevitable that he's going to lose that hatchery, but he's got enough money he can throw down another hatchery in no time. Those drones have morphed into 4 spine crawlers right up here as 3 mutalisks come out to do some damage, not a lot, but some, to the roaches. These 4 spine crawlers, once they're all up and running, are going to do some devastating damage. At the same time, some zerglings have continued to flirt down here. 4 zerglings against 2 queens and 3 roaches. Not the best combination in the world. Roaches decide to continue to harass the drone count, which is now almost evened up, 17 to 16. Looks like some roaches have popped out for Picolo, and he's finally finished up those roaches. But again, that was a rather devastating attack, as the number of units on both sides has evened up completely. And it looks like Picolo has continued to mine out of both gas, and Tiger's only decided to get his first gas right now, so the mineral count's going to be in his favor. Not the largest difference in the world, because Picolo is probably going to take this expansion once again, now that he's dealt with that initial pressure. You can see on the unit counting station, 5 mutas are on the field with 5 roaches for Tiger Blue. Those mutas, when they decide to move out, are going to do some damage to the drone line if they can manage to squeeze in between the spore crawlers and the absolute plethora of queens. Right now, these mutas are basically sulking around the exterior of the base, just trying to find some place that they can do damage, because some amount of damage needs to be done. Single roach down in the bottom realizes that he missed the boat and is going to get taken down. These mutas doing their best to pick off some creep tumors, which in reality could also benefit the ground-based army of Picolo just as much as they benefit Tiger Blue, but it's always good to deny what the opponent wants to do. On the production tab, we can see that glial reconstitutions at roach speed is starting. They're going to get range 1 for Tiger Blue, and we can see 7 more roaches have just finished up pretty much, and so Tiger Blue's back into that superior ground-based army. These spine crawlers are repositioning down at the expansion with some really cleverly placed overlords. This overlord in particular is a great idea because it spews out creep on top of those larvae, which would die instantly if the creep recedes underneath them. So even though that hatchery went down and has to be rebuilt, those very rare larvae, it's something you don't want to get behind, and that amount of larvae would be a big deal to lose. So that was a very clever overlord placement. You can also see another one spewing creep to allow the spines to be repositioned. Not as big a deal as the saving of the larva. 14 drones being built for Tiger Blue. Once that comes out, he'll definitely take the lead, which currently holds to Picolo. But again, Picolo's grabbing that expansion, and Tiger Blue does not have one. It looks like he's preparing to take it as he's throwing down a spore crawler up in the natural. But that's mainly because he's beginning to get mined out here and reaching that critical saturation. Hydralisk Den is down for Tiger Blue as these hatcheries begin to take damage, as the spore crawler can only be positioned on one side. These mutas can outrange it. Those hydras, though, have, with their increased mobility on the creep, a much better chance at deflecting the damage by the mutas as they force the cancel and just a little bit of lost minerals. 7 roaches on the way for Picolo as he's split his drones into equal groups between the 2 bases, increasing his mining. It looks like he's got the lead, 920 to 600. Even though the harvester count for Tiger Blue is significantly larger, he's still mining more because he's got 2 different bases up, and that difference it's such a large difference that a lot of people don't give it credit. Even though you've got the drone count superiority, if your drones are all mining off the same path they're all wasting time skirting between one and then the other. With that other expansion up, Picolo's going to have that economic lead, and this is where it shows. Look at all those roaches pouring in. Yeah, there's a lot of hydras here and roaches and queens and whatnot, but this is literally all Tiger Blue has. Picolo's going to continue to be able to produce units off of it. You can see he's banked almost 1,800 minerals and 800 gas, which he could use at any time to remake this army, which is great, which is very comfortable for him. But if Tiger Blue manages to get that base up with 33 drones and 24 drones to Picolo, he's going to lose that economic edge, and that economic edge is going to jump right into Tiger Blue's lap. And these Mutalisks haven't succeeded in taking out as many drones as they should have in order to pay for themselves. +2 range for both sides beginning to start. We see 7 more drones on the way for Picolo as he attempts to reinforce this army, so that he can handle this army. Very tense position. It looks like Picolo's relying on his mutas to offset Tiger's how comfortable Tiger feels right now. He wants to force Tiger to move his units around, and it looks like he has. Tiger's beginning to push out. It looks like these mutas are going to move up and just barely catch the tail end of those hydras. So Picolo is going to either move in and deal some damage to this main, or push back and try to catch these guys in open ground. And it looks like those roaches that he built earlier are going to do just that. Some 5 roaches come in and get surrounded, but they've delayed this group from making it to the expansion. So you have roaches here, some roaches over here that are now dead, but an excellent sandwich between the two armies. Tiger Blue's armies have a terrible concave and are going to go down as they get assailed from all sides. Some hydras manage to take down 1 muta, but 1 muta for an entire army, not bad at all. Tiger Blue knows that he's in a bad spot, even though he's got an economic still behind. It looks like because he's mining off of 2 gas for that. But he calls out a good game, realizes that he got bested. Even though the economy is the same, Picolo still got his standing army, and Tiger Blue doesn't. So we're going to watch Picolo as he just cleans this up until Tiger Blue truly surrenders. As he swears vengeance and a promise to eat Picolo's entire family. I don't know how large of a family Picolo has, but, you know, if he lives in America, 1 person. I don't know if I could eat 1 person. Anyway, that was a great game. Thanks to Picolo for posting this on the subreddit Cast It. Thanks Tiger Blue for playing a great game. And thank you for watching this. As always, I am Big and Scary. I'll see you guys later. Bye.